So I'm sure most of you watching this video will be aware of Tarantula Slayer Tier 5's release, but interestingly enough, it doesn't look like it's going to stop there. With Hypixel confirming that there's going to be another new Slayer released this year, what on earth is it going to be? Now, prior to the Foraging update, so many people were speculating that there was going to be a new Slayer, either a new Slayer completely, or a change to a different Slayer that would be implemented, for instance like Tier 5 Wolf. To me, that would have made perfect sense, considering, well, majority of people were doing Wolf in the park anyway, and that's kind of where it took place, and I don't know, I just call it kind of all added up. Other people were thinking Skeleton Slayer. Hypixel trolled us all with the Galatea trailer, and everyone thought it was going to be Skeleton Slayer. People had suspected that anyway. But quite obviously, neither of those ended up happening. And out of everything that could have been updated, it was, of course, Tarantula Slayer. Kind of a little bit out of the blue as well. But of course, with the confirmation of a completely new Slayer being introduced, what could it be? Before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS as it gets yourself 5% off. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer Slayers and Dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Also, if you're not already, you should subscribe to the channel. Now, I think first of all, you've got to look at the possibilities that already exist within Skyblock. For example, on the Galatea Island, it is possible that there is a Skeleton Slayer introduced, considering the chill shots and the chill blades are already here. This one's trying to kill me. And it would probably just take a little tweak to this area to make it a bit more spacious, bigger and viable for a new Slayer. Also, with these two unfinished portals at the back of Galatea that both say come in, well, not exactly soon. I mean, either of those could also accommodate for a Skeleton Slayer area. I mean, it could just be an updated Wolf Slayer with a Tier 5. That would make sense. However, they did specify a new Slayer, and that wouldn't really be a new Slayer. It would just be an update. Well, if we just look at the different islands, they already have Enderman Slayer. They already have Blaze Slayer. I doubt we're going to get some sort of farm animal Slayer. That would be really weird. Now, unless the Slayer is something to do with mining, and if you don't think it's going to be Skeleton Slayer on the Galatea area, then that kind of points towards maybe a whole new island, a whole new area, and a whole new part of Skyblock that houses a new Slayer. Now, I heard some people speculating that it could be Creeper Slayer, and while that's obviously not impossible, like it could be anything, the only creepers I can really think of are the sneaky creepers you can't see, but they're here in the gunpowder mines. So I assume if there was to be a Creeper Slayer, there most definitely would be a whole new island or area somewhere. Now, other people are speculating there's something like a Warden Slayer, and honestly that would be really interesting and would probably tie in, considering, like I mentioned, there are these portals at the back of Galatea that are just not usable right now, and they're coming soon, I guess. But something like a Warden Slayer would have to be in the new version of Minecraft, which kind of makes sense if there was to be like another island across there that housed the Warden Slayer or something like that. Or maybe just a mob from the new version of Minecraft. I feel like it's kind of already set up for that to kind of happen. On the other hand, these two islands, when they do eventually release, could just simply be more foraging or hunting. But the fact that it's so unknown kind of leaves the door open to pretty much anything. Now, what I will say, and it's probably going to sound a bit boring, is that I really just hope that they go ahead and release a Tier 5 Sven, a Tier 5 Enderman Slayer, a Tier 5 Blaze Slayer boss before they go ahead and release a new Slayer, because to me it makes no sense to have unfinished Slayers and then start releasing new ones when you've not finished with the ones that already exist. Especially with the older ones, for instance like Wolf Slayer, it's been out for so long. Of course Enderman Slayer's been out for quite a while now, and the same with Blaze. Like, I'm all for a new Slayer, but like, when you've got these unfinished ones, it just seems a bit weird to then release new ones, if you know what I'm saying. But I was just kind of looking around to see if I could see if anyone had ever pitched any new ideas for Slayers, and this is a very interesting idea from Google's Community Slayers. So Community Slayers would be a huge Slayer boss, such as the giant Void Gloom in the Dragon Nest or a Packmaster in the park. The Slayers would have like 1 mil hit points, but you can only do 1 damage per hit, so every player can participate. There will be a Slayer boss every Skyblock year, and the more damage you do, the better loot you get from the Slayer. There will be Slayer weight like dragons, allowing for different loot tables to be unlocked. Also, the more kills you get in the year, the more Slayer weight you gain. The boss fight would work like the basic Slayer is based on, but some attacks would be different because there are more people. The loot table would contain exclusive Slayer weapons along with orbs, armor, and talismans. Interesting. It's a very interesting idea. And remember, this is from August 2022, so almost 3 years ago. I mean, it almost just sounds like the bingo event, but obviously the bingo event, you don't have to do anything to enter other than click. It'd be cool, but I don't think we're ever going to see that, to be honest. Another idea from March of 2024, so just over a year ago, from somebody called Outbound King. I mentioned potential mining slayers before, and I guess this probably just builds on it. Goblin Slayer, this one is pretty self-explanatory. There would just be a Dwarven Mines version of Maddox that you go to and do Goblin Slayer, kill goblins to spawn them, etc. I mean, sure. I mean, you can make a Slayer out of anything. Ice Walker Slayer, now this one to me sounds pretty intriguing. So the idea is that there's a new area where stronger mobs spawn, so you can get more combat XP to spawn quicker. There would of course be new weapons that would have different abilities like freezing, you know, going with the whole ice sort of idea. Of course, just like the regular Ice Walkers, potentially the boss could take more damage from pickaxes, meaning that you would have to use maybe a Slayer specific pickaxe rather than sword or different type of weapon to actually kill it. Of course, there could be a new pets and different RNG items introduced. Goblin Slayer just seems so obvious, and I think would be pretty predictable. But something like an Ice Walker Slayer is something that I would like to see, and I think has the potential to be something really cool. Whether that will happen or not, I'm not sure. It would definitely be unique though. Now, another idea that I had, which I don't know if it would work or not, could be some sort of a seasonal Slayer. Whether it's Christmas themed, Halloween themed, you name it. Now, of course, the caveat would be, you can only do it in, I don't know, the month surrounding the actual event, or should I say the celebration or whatever. But similar to events like Bingo or the Great Spook, it would make it so that the items that are obtained from it become very, very sought after. You know, if you can only grind for these certain items 1 month of the year, and we know with Slayer items, they're usually pretty expensive and sought after. If you limit them just to a 12th of the amount of time that people have to grind them compared to other Slayers, I don't know, I feel like it could add a pretty cool dynamic. Whether that will happen or not, I'm not really sure. I mean, even though I'm not very good at Vampire Slayer, I appreciate that it's, you know, something different. And it isn't a bad Slayer at all, it's quite good. It's just very ping reliant, and obviously if you're bad at the game like me, it's not ideal. But anyway, that's going to wrap up today's video. Which Slayer we eventually get is a bit of a mystery at the moment. Who knows, it could be any of them. Also, it could be something completely different that I've not talked about. Who knows? But anyway, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.